Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel if you've been here before, and hello if you're new. Today we are looking at some more crochet memes. You guys seem to enjoy the previous video, and to be honest, I did too. So here we are again. It's also possible I needed to take a bit of a break because of my shoulder, but I don't want to talk about that. If you watched the previous video, you will know that my sister sent me all of those memes, but we only managed to get through about half of them. Part 2, which is what we're doing now, is going to feature the remaining half. And if you'd like to contribute your own meme for a potential future video, or hell, even just for funsies, you can drop that in the meme channel in the Discord. Link in the description. Okay, let the memery begin. First meme, my everyday seating arrangement. Sitting space, yarn space. Now, I know this is true for a lot of you out there. I've seen the picture evidence for myself, but for me personally, it's slightly less true. Most of my crocheting takes place in this room here, which is in fact couchless. So my yarn is relegated to bags. This is the scrap bag, and I've got the slightly less scrappy scrap bag just there. But yeah, so I tend to use more bench space than couch space. So meme number 1, not terribly applicable to me, but I imagine it's applicable to some of you out there. Meme number 2, that moment when someone asks you where you bought it and you say, I made it. I mean, that is a nice feeling, isn't it? Not just when you receive a compliment for your work, but the feeling of accomplishment you get when you actually finish making something, especially if it's a large project like when I've made clothes, even though the clothes I've made aren't the greatest because I'm relatively new at it. Yeah, you do feel accomplished. It is gratifying to be able to make something with your own 2 hands. Moving on to number 3. We got an Emperor's New Groove. I love the Emperor's New Groove. My preferences in Disney movies is not relevant though. When someone picks up my unfinished crochet project, no touchy. To be honest, it depends on the person picking it up. There are some people I would trust to pick up my work just because I know that they need to be careful, because there is a chance, if you're not using a stitch marker or something, there is a chance that the work can come undone. But there are other people who definitely need to maintain the 6-foot social distancing around my crochet projects, because it's not that they do something to intentionally ruin it, they just don't quite understand the complexities of a crochet project, and that it can quite quickly and easily be undone if you're not careful. So yes, I know where this meme's coming from, but it very much depends on the person doing the touching. Up next, we have what some crochet patterns look like. I think I actually mentioned this in my last meme video. There are some creators who the way they word their written patterns just does not make sense to my brain. And the easiest thing for me to do in that case is to translate it into a format that does make sense. But what I think of when I read this meme is the crochet, the diagrams. I have never used one of those. I think I vaguely remember the symbols for chain and like a single crochet, but yeah, reading the crochet diagrams is like looking at hieroglyphs. I have no idea what the majority of it means. It is one of those things on my to-do list. It's just a matter of getting around to learning, I suppose. That might be a good idea for a future video, trying to decipher my first crochet diagram pattern. It'll have to be something really basic. Okay, what do we got next? Kermit the Frog, you're familiar, bottom right there. You were in the last meme video. What does this one say? Me thinking about finishing a current crochet project or starting a new one. Yeah, I do struggle with that on occasion, or on multiple occasions. I can't pinpoint exactly what it is that makes me want to start a new project when I'm in the middle of one, because a lot of the time it's not the case that I'm bored or I don't want to finish the old or the current project. I think it's more that I get so excited about either a new idea I have or a new pattern I want to create that I have to start it like right now, immediately. I mean, sometimes it is the case that I do get bored with the old projects, but oftentimes, no, I think I'm just so excited to be bringing an idea to life that I get a bit ahead of myself, I think. Speaking of getting ahead, let's head to the next meme. Oh, we have a flow chart here. Life explained. Do you have a problem in life? No. Go crochet something. Solid advice. Do you have a problem in life? Yes. Can you do anything about it? No. Go crochet something. Do you have a problem in life? Yes. Can you do anything about it? Yes. Go crochet something. All roads lead to crochet. Next meme. Try crocheting, they said. It relieves stress, they said. I have found with crochet, it is fairly binary. There are two extremes. It's either incredibly stressful or it's very de-stressing. Very rarely do you get the in-between, or maybe that's just me. What do they call it? Is that bimodal? That's bimodal, I think. Sometimes you can sit down and you can have a nice de-stress session, just relax while you're crocheting. Other times things just constantly go wrong, whether you're miscounting your stitches, you got to frog your work, you keep losing your hook or your scissors or your needle, and case in point, as this meme shows, sometimes your yarn tangles and it takes you forever to detangle it. That happened to me the other day. I was crocheting, I've got it here, crocheting my granny hexagon cardigan, and I had about, I'd say like 5 or so meters left of my skein, not very much at all, but the entire thing was so tangled and knotted. No idea how it ended up that way, but it legitimately took me almost an hour to untangle it. There are no words. I can't explain how it got into that state. One of life's mysteries. On to the next meme. You can use a small hook so the yarn goes farther and I can pay you less. That's not how crochet works. Let's be real here. The smaller the hook, the more I would charge. I'm too old to be using like a 2.5 or a 2mm hook now. I'm done with that. Special occasions, I might break it out, but for now, I'm gonna stick with minimum 3.5, maybe a 4. But yeah, you make me go smaller than that, I'm jacking up the price. I say that as if I do commissions. What do we got next? You think chocolate is addicting. You've obviously never tried crochet. I'm not a person with a sweet tooth, so I've never personally found chocolate addicting. I know, in fact, I'm related to a couple of people who, once they start eating chocolate, it's very hard for them to stop. But I'm like, you know, two, 3 little squares, and that's enough for me. What do you all think? If you had to choose between chocolate and crochet, which one would you pick? I'm picking the crochet. Easy choice. Will trade candy for yarn. So take that spiel that I just did about chocolate and replace the word chocolate with candy. And that's my thoughts. I'm on the same page with candy, or as we would call them here, lollies. Mostly we call them lollies. I'm on the same page with those as I am with chocolate. They're okay occasionally, but most of the time it's just too sweet for me. And we have a Sheldon Big Bang, me explaining crochet to friends. Oh, it was easy. I just chain 76, single crochet in the second chain from the hook, skip 2, 5 double crochet, skip 2, single crochet all the way down the starting chain. It might be a little bit mean, but it is kind of amusing trying to watch non-crocheters decipher crochet terminology. I made my sisters attempt, well, I say made, they volunteered to try crocheting a couple of weeks ago, and they experienced this to a small degree. If you'd like to see that video, I'll put a link for it down in the description. I thought it was pretty bloody funny, and we're actually considering doing a part 2, a follow-up for that, so yeah, if you're interested, link in the description. Next meme, crocheting with black yarn. I hear that complaint a lot. I don't find it too bad. It's a good thing I had this here today. I've been using it in all my examples, but like I've been working on this very, very slowly. This has taken me forever to do, but I don't know, I've never had a huge problem with black yarn. Perhaps that's because, like I already said in this video, I do most of my work here and I have like my big lights surrounding me. So that certainly helps me to be able to see the stitches more clearly. But no, I don't really have too much of an issue working with black yarn. I don't like filming black yarn. So if I'm creating a pattern for YouTube or even need to take pictures for a written pattern, I don't like using black yarn then because the stitches don't show up all that well on the camera. Though that could be partially or mostly the fault of the shitty phone that I use. To be fair, it's probably the shitty phone. Next. Finally, I learned how to knit socks. I accept orders. If it wasn't for my chronic pain condition, I would 100% try that. I have to be incredibly careful about what I put on my foot and my leg because it is extremely, extremely touch sensitive, and just brushing against it can cause a pain flare. I like this in theory. Unfortunately, I won't be able to try it in practice. At least not without causing myself a debilitating amount of pain. Bloody chronic pain, it ruins everything. What's this one? I thought I saw a spider. I mean, just one or two, but it was just a piece of yarn. It's dead yarn now. I have been tricked like that though. I've had bits of yarn on the floor, especially like the fluffy stuff. When that clumps together on the floor, it does, or it can look like a spider or other insects. Though I don't step on it to kill it because I am one of those people who will take spiders outside. I don't like killing spiders or bugs. There are a couple of exceptions. We have these spiders called whitetails, and if I find them inside, I do have to kill those because they are a danger to our pets. I mean, we've had family friends whose horse was bitten by a whitetail spider and ended up passing away. So you don't want to mess around with those. So I do kill those, but then I feel guilty about it. I don't like killing the bugs. The meme video took a bit of a depressing turn, didn't it? So moving on. Acrylic cotton. I feel like mine should be switched around because I use acrylic most frequently. I mean, most of my stuff is acrylic, and I occasionally switch out to the cotton, and even rarer than that, I'll go with like a wool or a wool blend. So keep the spirit of that meme. I need to swap the acrylic and the cotton around. What do we got? Oh God, my brain just did a thing. It completely glitched. Let me read the meme first and I'll tell you how it glitched. Weave in ends on my project or start 25 new projects. And then me with 26 unfinished projects. Yes, that is an Uno card, but my brain did a glitch because I actually play quite a bit of Uno. However, I play it with my nibblings, my nieces and nephews. And we have the Paw Patrol version. So my brain glitched for a sec and it spent an embarrassingly long amount of time trying to figure out what that card was because I didn't recognize it as an Uno card because it doesn't have a bloody Paw Patrol dog on it. It is actually an Uno card, I get that now. Bloody Paw Patrol. It's those ends that always get you. That's why weave in as you go. Weave in as you go. It's a pain in the ass, but it's less of a pain in the ass than trying to weave them in all at once, even though it doesn't usually feel like it at the time. Moving on. Future home floor plan. Bedroom, kitchen, bath, yarn. See, I would like to know, is that yarn storage or is the room made from yarn? Yarn carpets, yarn wallpaper, yarn ceiling, yarn furniture. I bet that would make for pretty bloody good soundproofing. I had to get these stupid foam panels to make my mic sound at least halfway decent. But I reckon if you had an entire room covered in yarn, that would sound alright. Not me being tempted to try that. I mean, it wouldn't be it'd take a while, but you could just make like granny squares and cover the floor that way. You could just hang blankets up on the wall. You could do the same for the ceiling as well, I suppose. And you wouldn't have to construct the furniture itself. You could just cover pre-existing furniture in yarn. I don't think that'd be all that hard. Time consuming, yes. Expensive, Also yes, but hard? Not really. That's something that would probably better suit like a community centre, have a community craft room that's just made entirely of yarn. I spent way too long thinking about this. Let's move on. Fibre artists when they have to weave in their ends. We've had quite a few weaving in ends ones so far, haven't we? I know we had a couple last time, but I feel like there's been a lot. Okay, well, because there's been a lot, we'll just skip to the next one. Crochet patterns within my skill level. The urge to design my own patterns. I'm an advocate for trying to learn to design your own patterns no matter your skill level, because I think it's a really good way to learn. You're probably going to make a lot of mistakes, especially if you are a beginner, but I think it does teach you a lot about crochet and especially like amigurumi, how the shaping works, how it comes together. You don't need to design something that's complex. You can really just start with a basic ball or sphere and then just add little pieces to that. So think of the ball as the head/body piece and just add tiny features to begin with, and you can slowly work your way up the complexity ladder after that. So if you're someone who's on the fence and you think, I'm not experienced enough at crochet to begin designing my own patterns, now bugger that, you can. Just start basic, and one of the really good things about crochet is if you make a mistake, you can just frog it and start again. I honestly do think it's a good way to level up and to learn. So yeah, if you want to, give it a go. Just give it a go. Next meme. Who wants to start a new crochet project? Who wants to hide the threads on their current crochet project? See, here we go again. More weaving in ends. Apparently, it really is a universal experience. We all just kind of hate it. And I've just jumped to the next meme, and you'll never guess what it's about. Finishing a crochet project, finishing a project, and weaving in the tails. What do we think the chances of the next meme being about weaving in your ends as well? No, it's not, and I'm glad it's not. Not to brag, but I've got a mean right hook. A crochet hook saying jerk. Look at his little face and the hands on the hips. I like that. I like the mean right hook. I wonder what the left hook's personality is. Do you think they're the peacekeeper and they're trying to stop the right hook from being a bit of an ass? When you have to frog a project that you're halfway done with, yep, that's the face. That face just encapsulates it. When it comes to frogging, I think it really depends on the kind of mistake you make. I do think I said this in my previous video as well, but if the mistake is minor and it doesn't greatly affect the overall project, I'm generally happy to leave it there. But if it's like glaringly obvious or it does have some other impact on your pattern, yeah, you gotta frog it then, and it's never a pleasant experience. Just watching all those hours of hard work come undone. It's a bit demoralizing, let's be honest, it's a bit demoralizing. Found a great pattern. None of my yarn works for it. Need to buy more yarn. Sometimes this is true, sometimes it's true with an asterisk. You could make the pattern work with the yarn you've got in your stash. You could, but the yarn at the store works better. Take break from big crochet project, relax by working on another crochet project. Guilty. I especially do this for the projects that I make on my YouTube channel here. Sorry, I need a drink break. Because the way I sort of structure my projects and the way I work, I usually have about 3 or 4 on the go at once because generally speaking, they each require different things. So for example, this one here, my today's example, I can crochet that sitting here. Whereas some projects, I've got another one over there that I'm working on, I need to be a little bit more active, which means I need to like stand up at my desk. I need to be moving around, doing stuff. And there are days when I physically cannot do that. So I have a number of different projects on the go at once, so I can sort of pick and choose what I want to work on, or if I'm limited in some respects. So for example, I can't move around very much. I can work on the project that only requires sitting down. But on the days I'm feeling a little bit better, I can work on those more physically demanding projects. projects. So yes, I definitely take a break from crochet projects by working on other crochet projects, but I have my reasons for it. And honestly, even if you don't have your reasons for it, who cares? Do what makes you happy. Work on the project that you want to work on. As long as it's bringing you joy, that's the main thing. Next meme. Me. How many skeins of yarn does this hold? Salesperson. Ma'am, this is a couch. Me. Yeah, I understand. How many? Very similar to meme number 1, I think. I'll just have to take what I said then and insert it here. I just don't crochet at a couch very often. Although my desk chair can hold a surprising amount of yarn. I've tested that one thoroughly. Next meme. You don't want to die with unfinished business. You will be doomed to walk the earth as a ghost. Let me be clear, leave nothing unfinished. Knitters, weavers, quilters, spinners, crocheters. We're all getting called out in this one. I wonder if how many unfinished projects you have left determines exactly how doomed you are. I'm not sure, we'll have to get the Grim Reaper on the phone and ask him. Do you know your cuts of lamb? Hat, scarf, wristlets, socks, sweater, blanket, mittens, purse, leg warmers, hot pads, toys, and miscellaneous. I should print that one out and put it on my wall. You know, like they do at the butcher shops. Or maybe it's just the butcher shops that I've been to. They got the cuts there. I should have it in the background here somewhere. Moving on. Don't tell me that was that the last one? How long? Oh, I've been going for 40 minutes. Huh. Time flies when you're having fun. I honestly thought there was more memes than that. That did not feel like 40 minutes. Oh well, the end. I wasn't prepared to do the outro yet. I suppose I can take a breather while we do. And today's featured creator on the hookup is Bailey, and she says, I've been crocheting since the first lockdown in New Zealand, being pretty much self-taught. I love making amigurumi animals and mythical creatures, basically anything whimsical, and frequently dabble in pattern testing for other crocheters on Instagram. My biggest and most time-consuming project so far was my own version of the Cheshire Cat I made for my art school assessment, which used elements of crochet, needle felting, and clay sculpting. I also take part in a lot of popular local markets selling my crochet stuff. I haven't checked the pictures out yet, but I am hoping that Bailey has provided an image of her Cheshire Cat. That sounds really cool, especially having combined the elements of needle felting and clay. That would be awesome. If you'd like to check out Bailey's stuff for yourself, all of her links will be down in the description, and so will a link to a Google form if you'd like to apply for the hookup for yourself. And now that I've done that, I'm still not prepared for the outro. What do I usually say next? I just like to reiterate that if you would like to provide your own meme, whether it's one you found or one you've made yourself, we do have a meme channel in the Discord. Again, link in the description. Thank you all very much for watching. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Share it if you think it's worth sharing, and I will see you in the next one.